Good to be with you from Washington tonight. I'm Tony DeCopel. The breaking news right now. Apparent assassination attempt. The alleged White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter charged with 3 federal counts.
Make no mistake, this was an attempted assassination of the President of the United States.
And what President Trump said in a broadcast exclusive interview with Norah O'Donnell for 60 Minutes about conspiracy theories surrounding Saturday's shooting.
I think they're more sick than they are con people, but there's a lot of con in it, too.
Plus, those historic wildfires in Georgia and the new tornado threat tonight. 70 million people under severe weather alerts as storms fire up across the country. Rob Marciano with the timing and track.
It's me.
Trademarking Taylor what the pop superstar could be doing to fight AI. And 26.2 miles in under 2 hours. Why breaking that marathon record matters, and what's the secret?
This is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel, reporting tonight from the White House.
And good evening. He was a star student and award-winning teacher, and now he's charged with an attempt to assassinate the president. 31-year-old Cole Allen, according to new documents filed today in federal court, bought these weapons, a semi-automatic handgun and pump-action shotgun, legally as far back as 2023. But in early April, investigators say he booked a room at the Washington Hilton and made a plan to attack the dinner there on Saturday. According to his own writings, his targets included President Trump and members of the administration. And he would go through most everyone to get there. Allen has not yet entered a plea. Chief Correspondent Matt Gutman has been following the investigation from the very beginning, and he joins us now. Matt, what more have we learned?
Tony, we now know that suspect allegedly planned this attack weeks in advance, and that he himself had written that he was surprised at the light security footprint at this hotel. We also spoke to a witness who saw him race past security, and she noticed that the doors to the ballroom at the time were open, so she ran downstairs herself to close them.
2 days after allegedly charging towards that Washington ballroom Saturday night, Cole Allen was in a federal courtroom today facing formal Department of Justice charges of the attempted assassination of a president.
Make no mistake, this was an attempted assassination of the President of the United States, with the defendant making clear what his intent was: to bring down as many of the high-ranking cabinet officials as he could.
President Trump has faced 2 previous assassination attempts, both during the 2024 campaign. Prosecutors also brought 2 federal gun charges against the California teacher, alleging he was armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, 38 semi-automatic handgun, and 3 knives. They say he raced through a magnetometer, leading to a staircase descending to the packed ballroom. The suspect then appears to fall forward, right at guest Aaron Thielman's feet.
And then immediately they were on top of him, I see.
At that point, I saw that he had his hands out in front of him on the ground, and the shotgun had fallen to his side, so he dropped his gun, and I just deemed it safe to get the hell out of there.
Within seconds, you can see Secret Service agents emerging from those doors.
I ran downstairs.
And what did you see about these doors?
The doors were wide open, and I was very concerned because we had the line of succession for our country in the ballroom, and I didn't know what they knew. So I started shutting the ballroom doors.
As plates clattered and a hush silenced the 2,500 guests who began ducking beneath tables, many of us began to film. It took about 10 seconds for officers to reach the president. It took security teams more than 3 minutes to clear top administration officials. The president and 12 of the 18 in the top line of succession were safe. A breakneck investigation began into how the suspect got that close, revealing that Allen, a 31-year-old from near Los Angeles, booked his room at the hotel on April 6th. President Trump announced he would attend the dinner on March 2nd. Allen checked into the Washington Hilton on Friday, April 24th, the day before the dinner, traveling cross-country with his weapons by train, said officials. The Secret Service said its safety net worked, but top officials tonight are facing tough questions.
Law enforcement did not fail. They did exactly what they are trained to do. This was not an accident. It was the result, as we know now, of preparation.
In an email to family, timed to be sent just before the incident, police say the suspect himself expressed surprise at the security footprint. He wrote, "I walk in with multiple weapons, and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. The security at the event is all outside, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before."
And Tony, the White House Correspondents' Dinner has been held at the Hilton here for decades with largely the same security protocol. What has changed, and the White House acknowledges this, is the threat environment in this country, the rise of political violence. Tony.
Yeah, we all feel it, Matt. Thank you very much. Even as the Justice Department gathers evidence, some corners of the internet are brewing with conspiracies about the attack. In her interview Sunday with President Trump, 60 Minutes contributing correspondent Nora O'Donnell asked the president about this now familiar part of political life. Nora, tell us what he said.
Good evening, Tony. We did learn a lot from our interview about what happened during that security scare. But there were so many questions that rumors and conspiracy theories flooded the internet. One of the most prominent was that the attack was staged, suggesting a plot to distract from his declining poll numbers or the war in Iran. Now, there's no evidence of that, but the term staged was shared hundreds of thousands of times on X, and we asked the president about it.
I hesitate to ask you about this, but as you know, these conspiracy theories out there on the left and the right, that the event was staged or that it didn't happen.
Last night didn't happen?
That it was because it was your first time there, or that Butler didn't happen. These conspiracy theories that are gaining traction on the internet.
October 7th didn't happen, and World War II didn't happen, and the Holocaust didn't happen, and many things didn't happen. Yeah, no, I hear it. I don't know. I think they're more sick than they are con people, but there's a lot of con in it too. I haven't heard that last night didn't happen. Usually it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Usually they wait about 2 or 3 months to start saying that.
The president told us he wants to reschedule the White House Correspondents' Dinner within 1 month. There are discussions underway today on if and when that will happen. Tony?
Nora, thank you very much. And by the way, people have been wondering what happened to those 2,600 dinners from Saturday night. Well, they will be eaten eventually. The Hilton donated the steak and lobster to shelters for abused women and children. They were freeze-dried and passed over. Meanwhile, the business of the White House continues. Late today, King Charles and Queen Camilla arrived for a state visit, even amid questions about security on Saturday, and also who's to blame for what everyone seems to agree is a heightened threat of political violence. Here's senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe.
President Trump welcomed King Charles and Queen Camilla to the White House today, the start of a carefully planned multi-day royal tour, now cloaked by even more security.
This is the third major assassination attempt against President Trump in 2 years.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president stands by the Secret Service, but acknowledged improvements may be considered.
I definitely wouldn't say changes are out of the question.
The Secret Service director visited Capitol Hill today to answer questions from senior lawmakers about the incident, while White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles is set to lead a review of the attack and how to balance safety with the president eager to appear at large public events.
There's many exciting events I know the president wants to be part of and will be part of moving forward.
Less than 2 days since the incident, there's bipartisan agreement that heated political rhetoric is inspiring violence. But each side still blames the other.
This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment.
Leavitt called out past comments by Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who this month said we're in an era of maximum warfare.
And this so-called White House press secretary wants to lecture America and lecture us about civility. Get lost, clean up your own house before you have anything to say to us about the language that we use.
The White House also seized on the shooting as reason to quickly complete a new ballroom on White House grounds.
We absolutely believe that there is no better example of why this ballroom is necessary.
The administration wants a lawsuit challenging the legality of the project dismissed, but the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which brought the suit, refuses to do so. But the National Trust says construction requires congressional approval. So today, several Republicans said they'll be pushing legislation that would fund and approve the ballroom, which, important to point out, Tony, as originally conceived, wouldn't even be large enough to host the 2,600 people who were ticketed for Saturday night.
It's a big ballroom, but not that big.
Right.
Ed, while we have you, the president and the first lady are calling for ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel, the comedian, because of a joke he made last week. What do we know?
It all started on Thursday night when he released a video pretending to be MC of the Correspondents' Dinner and suggested that the First Lady has, quote, a glow like an expectant widow. He was making jokes about the president's age and health as well. Mrs. Trump called Kimmel's words corrosive, and the president said they went beyond the pale. So far, ABC has no comment. Remember, he was suspended last September for making jokes after the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
All part of the moment we're in. Ed, thank you very much. Turning now to Georgia, where those record-breaking wildfires are still burning into a second week now, despite a little bit of rain overnight. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry has made his way to Waynesville, Georgia, for us tonight. Skylar, good evening. What do you see?
Hey, Tony, good to see you as always. Now, county officials say that the fire that has broken out here in the county has grown significantly over the course of the last several days in Brantley County, so much so that firefighters from as far away as Utah and Oregon are headed this way to try to get an upper hand.
New video shows the scale and scope of the devastation in South Georgia as fires now burn into a second week. This one near the town of Waynesville doubled in size over the weekend, extending a trail of misery and destruction.
That was my house.
This is what's left of David and Christina Carter's home.
It was devastating. I mean,
it was like numb at first because you're like, this is a joke, right? And it's like, no, this was my house for 10 years.
Were you able to save anything? Or?
Nothing.
The Carters' home, among at least 120 so far, gone. Powerful winds and extreme drought are fueling these two major fires. South Georgia is under extreme or exceptional drought. Waynesville has received just a half inch of rain this month, less than 1/8 of its normal rainfall.
We looked at all the records going back historically with the state. We believe that these two fires have created the most lost homes ever in the history of our state.
The Carters say they were fortunate to have insurance. Much can be replaced. And yet, despite grabbing documents and other essentials as they fled.
Like the rush of getting everything, we left our wedding album. We've been married 25 years. There's stuff that we'll never get back.
The Carters say they will rebuild. As for the battle ahead, those firefighters from out west who are more accustomed to dealing with these hot, dry, and windy conditions will be a welcome sight of relief for many of those here on the ground who officials say are more accustomed to dealing with structural fires as opposed to wildfires. Tony?
Yeah, it's different. Skylar, thank you very much. Severe storms are moving through the Midwest after sweeping through parts of Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, where storm chasers captured video of these double-barreled tornadoes you see on your screen. The storms also produced heavy rain, large hail, and damaging winds. Meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking it all for us. As always, Rob, good evening.
Hey, Tony, 20 reported tornadoes over the weekend. So far today, none. That's likely to change. We've got a two-headed monster that's barreling across the midsection of the country right now. 8 states are under severe weather watches, including most of them under tornado watches, and tornado warnings have been popping north of St. Louis all day. And then a very rare PDS tornado watch from Memphis to Cairo to Paducah to Evansville. That means that area is explosive for tornadoes that could be EF3 or higher and on the ground for a long duration, so for over the next 3 to 4 hours. That line moves into the Tennessee Valley, and then we recharge the atmosphere tomorrow with another wave from Dallas to Little Rock, Memphis again, Tupelo, into Nashville. Damaging winds with large hail and tornadoes. Yes, this whole mess moves towards the east. We'll still have a severe wet threat to a lesser extent on Wednesday, but this system will bring some much-needed rain to some of those fires, at least in Georgia. Florida is still left in the cold as far as the rain is concerned, but that rain does come with a price for our friends in the Midwest tonight. Tony?
Rob, thank you very much. Still ahead on the broadcast, the man suspected of killing 2 Florida doctoral students, what investigators say he was doing on ChatGPT. And Taylor Swift is trademarking her voice and her face, what that might prevent. We're back, and investigators are looking into the apparent murder of 2 University of South Florida doctoral students and are now revealing evidence from the suspect's bedroom and his search history. Here's CBS correspondent Christian Benavides.
Authorities are working to identify human remains found in the waters of Tampa Bay, where deputies have been searching for Nahida Bristi, a University of South Florida doctoral student. She went missing earlier this month, along with fellow student Jamil Limon, and is presumed dead after Limon's remains were recovered on a nearby bridge Friday. Jubar Ahmed is Limon's brother.
Pain is unimaginable, undescribable. I just want people to know that they are bright, hardworking, kind.
Police have charged Limon's roommate, Hisham Abu Gharbi, with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was arrested on Friday at his family's home after a dramatic standoff with police, wearing only a towel. In new court documents, police allege Abu Gharbi stabbed Limon to death and disposed of his body using large trash bags and duct tape he bought online. Blood from both students was, police say, found in Abu Gharbi's bedroom in 2 distinct patterns on the floor and saturated into the carpet. They also detail chilling questions he allegedly asked ChatGPT. What happens if a human is put in a black garbage bag and thrown in a dumpster? And hours after the students went missing, are cars checked at the Hillsborough River State Park. Abu Gharbi's family told police he was prone to anger. Today, his brother, Ahmed Abu Gharbi, spoke to us over the phone.
I'm really sorry about everything. We tried to warn police about him in the past.
The suspect was in court on Saturday. He will be back in court tomorrow. The public defender's office said that their client deserves a right to a fair trial. Tony?
Christian, while we have you, we're learning more about the suspect's state of mind. What can you tell us about that?
Right. Well, in a 2023 protective order that was obtained by CBS News, Abu Gharbi's brother said that he would start screaming in the middle of the night about how he is God and everyone should bow down to him. Tony?
Christian, thank you very much. Up next, your face and voice can be faked in seconds these days. What Taylor Swift appears to be doing to protect herself. Stay with us. Artificial intelligence is getting very good at copying voices, which is why Taylor Swift appears to be trying to protect her own. The superstar has moved to trademark her voice and likeness using a law that can already protect your image from misuse by advertisers or impersonators. That can allow her to stop AI deepfakes in much the same way. Here's a bad idea caught on film. A teenager in Florida drove a riding mower into a Target in Ocala Saturday, shattering the glass door on the way in, and police say endangering the people inside. He was arrested along with the friend who filmed it all for social media. No word on whether they've also posted their mugshots. Cats love to climb and explore, and they don't mind a ledge, but this is crazy. Video of a cat climbing out a window and peering over the edge of a 57-story Manhattan high-rise. Maybe he was hunting, maybe he was high on catnip. If this is your cat, do tell us. The internet is asking for a wellness check. Up next, is there any limit to human endurance? What a new marathon record can teach us.
This portion of the CBS Evening News is sponsored by Air Supra. Visit us at airsupra.com.
We're back with the good stuff. What it took to achieve a new milestone in human endurance, a sub-2-hour marathon. It happened in London on Sunday, 4.5 minutes a mile or so for 26 miles straight. That's faster on foot than you could go on a rented electric scooter right here in Washington, D.C. More on the runner himself in a moment, but think of the journey here. A human being first ran a sub-3-hour marathon in London in 1908. Broke 2:30 in 1925, broke 2:10 in 1967. At which point, many people felt no one could ever get below 2 hours. In 2008, in fact, a Stanford biologist said that barrier was an absolute limit. But no more. Sebastian Salwe is a 31-year-old Kenyan born into a home with a mud wall and no electricity. How did he do it? It's the shoes, yes, they're lighter, they're springier. It's also nutrition and the new science of training. But none of that matters as much as the psychology of it. Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile in 1954, and within years, others matched him. And now, more than 2,000 people have broken that once unbreakable barrier. When Salwe broke 2 hours, he too reset the horizon of possibility. Not only for himself, but for the man who finished just behind him in the very same race. And for all of us, records inspire other records. So is there a limit to how fast, for how long a human being can run? Maybe. I don't think so. Sebastian Solway doesn't think so. And because of him, I know right now there's a young runner out there crazy enough to prove him right. That's another day in America. I'm Tony DeCopel in Washington. We'll see you back in New York tomorrow. Good night.